Thanks for telling us so late. All right. Well, hello. Welcome to the Legacy Premier League. I'm Rudy Brixa. I'm here with Julian Knob. How you doing, Julian?
Hey, hi, Rudy. Thanks. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm actually pretty excited. This is going to be really interesting, and it's been a while since we've been able to see some good Legacy. And one of the things that probably makes this the most exciting overall is this feels like a brand new Legacy format. Deathrite Shaman is banned. Gataxian Probe is banned. We're going to get to see some wild and potentially crazy decks, a lot of old decks that we haven't seen in a while. I'm sure you're really happy about this, right, Julian? Your deck feels better now?
It's so much better. Like, in general, Legacy feels so much better now, and it also, in a way, gave us so much more motivation to actually run this league. And before we get into it, I really, really, really want to thank you, everyone who's been involved with this. Starting with Mike, who's the guy who's co-creating this with me, and who's doing all of the hard work regarding technique and streaming and stuff right now. But also to all the players, including you and commentators, and also our sponsors Cardboard and GG, the Epic Storm. That's Brian Cook's project. Sorry, I'm a little bit excited because this is I'm just feeling so good that we're back in this. But also MTG First, who came through just today and helped us out with sponsorship, and also Cardboard.live. That's Vincent Hunter's project that we are using for this broadcast right now. There's some static noise, by the way, really annoying static noise in the background.
Yeah, for sure. But this is actually really interesting here, and we do have deck lists up a tiny bit early, but we have Andrea Mengucci, who's a Legacy stalwart, and if you've ever been over to channelfireball.com, you've had to see Andrea at some point in time playing a bunch of different Legacy decks, and he's going really old school here. He's playing Goblins, and this is a deck that literally got crushed by Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman single-handedly kind of made this deck just so much worse here. And Andrea's ready. He's bringing it back. I think it's basically the same kind of deck, except the one thing that's really interesting is he has 4 Tarfires in his main deck, and also a Goblin Trashmaster. And Goblin Trashmaster is basically a new lord, but also it's kind of exciting. It has another ability. Do you know what this ability is?
Yeah, it's actually one of the best things that could ever happen to Goblins. They can now remove artifacts at instant speed. I think you take it throws a Goblin at the artifact, basically. You sacrifice a Goblin and get destroyed. And that's actually a really big thing for Goblins, because in the past, before this card actually came out, I was talking to my friends who are playing Goblins, and I asked them, is Tuk Scrubber really the best you got? 4 mana Shatter, really? And they complained to me about that. They told me, yeah, we really need some other kind of effect, and now here we are, Trashmaster. I'm surprised. I'm also surprised he runs Starfire, as well as Pendlehaven, because that kind of looks like a build that you would get from the Deathrite Shaman area when you really wanted to clear the way for Lucky. So yeah, I'm sure he's got a reason for that.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it looks like Andrea was maybe kind of concerned about playing some fair decks. Looking at the list of people that are in this thing, Stoneforge sounds like it'd be super prevalent. Elves sounds like it would be super prevalent. Death and Taxes sounds like it would be super prevalent. And because of all this, I don't actually blame the way this deck is built. 4 Tarfire means that he wants Stoneforge dead. He wants, any small creature dead. But what's really exciting here, and I think is actually absurd, is Vincent Chandler's deck. This is Pleasant Kenobi on YouTube. If you haven't checked him out, please head over and check him out. And this is really exciting. This is a mono black Pack Rat Leyline of the Void Helm deck, and this is really exciting because you have a lot of things going on. But I think the big thing is this kind of deck has had a lot of problems in the past, and a lot of the problems in the past is that it doesn't really have a good way to catch up. It falls behind, and its mulligan is really bad. But
it's interesting. But yes,
yeah, but Karn Scion of Urza changes everything about it. Now there's a ton of draw for Vincent to be able to hang in here and just draw and keep up with every single deck in the format.
Yeah, and we are right into the game, and Vincent's on the play. Interestingly, he's got the 2 ley lines in the main deck, but he doesn't know what Andrea is on. If you know Andrea, you know that he has actually played a little bit of Goblins on Magic Online in the past, if you followed his Twitter. I don't know, you're also in the league. Rudy, did you do some scouting on your potential opponents? Probably not, right? It's just too hard.
I mean, unfortunately, I was added a tiny bit late to this. So because I was added a little bit late, I wasn't really able to get a lot of work in. I think I still submitted a deck that I thought was going to be really good for this for Legacy in general, and I'm still kind of excited to play it. I'm going to hold it off for a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and get into the game here. And unfortunately, a mulligan to 5 from Vincent here is not a great start, but he does have the ability to play a turn 1 pack rat, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah. He mulliganed down. He didn't really want to keep the ley lines. And like, if you're mulliganing and you're on the play, I think like turn 1 pack rat is probably as good as it gets in this deck, unless you like get to stick a planeswalker, which is kind of hard of the mulligans because most of them cost like double black.
Absolutely here, and we're going to see these 4 Tarfires really coming into play here because despite the fact that there's a mulligan to 5, even if Andrea drew a 1-drop here, I can't imagine he's going to do anything but take out that pack rat, and Tarfire's going to go ahead, take it out, it's gone, see ya. We see here, yeah,
Chalice is not really exciting in this matchup, especially in the face of Cavern. Like, it shuts down the second Tarfire, actually, and I wonder if Vincent would have had that Chalice on the first turn, whether he would have like opted for the Chalice over the pack rat to protect it, which could have worked out for him. But like seeing that Andrea also has Krenko, it will actually become this really interesting race where you got Krenko racing pack rat. I think that's a race that Krenko wins if it gets to stick.
Oh, certainly for here. And we see here that Vincent is kind of just sitting around, really spinning his wheels. This is, kind of the downside to this kind of deck, is a lot of times you do sometimes spin your wheels. And although Andrea has a really slow start here, he has Goblin Warchief, and Goblin Warchief is going to be fantastic for being able to just play out a lot of different things. And Toxic Deluge is a fantastic main deck card and a great draw for Vincent here. That means at some point in time, he's going to really be able to get back into the game, depending on how far behind he falls.
Yeah, it's going to depend a little bit on the ringleader as well. And of course, like for Vincent, for his draws to actually work out, because he's eventually going to lose the City of Traders as well. Like, if Andrea plays it right and doesn't overcommit too much and just controls him with the Reshaden Port, then even if Vincent eventually gets to stick the Toxic Deluge, I think he's going to have a really rough time getting back into the game here.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to see here, we're going to see an attack for 5, and that's going to drop Vincent down to 9, and that is not a good spot to be in. That means pretty much any creature here off the, any creature for Andre here would theoretically kind of end the game. So we're going to have to see, Vincent here make some moves, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go ahead and jam this Toxic Deluge here. I assume Chromox is going to get rid of Rentflesh. That is what Vincent is going to choose here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a Toxic Deluge here for 2. But that is going to drop Vincent down to 7. And against a deck with some hasty goblins, that's a scary, scary proposition here. And Vincent still has a lot of work to do to get out of this.
To interrupt you shortly, is the audio getting better for the chat? I noticed that my microphone was unplugged because it disconnected, and I just changed it back, so yeah, it should be better. Yeah, that's better, that's great. So, basically, back to square one. Vincent has a Chalice that doesn't really do too much, and now Andrea just gets to do the Goblin thing. Like, you run out a Ringleader, it's a hasty threat, Vincent's already down to 5, he's gonna go down to 3 on the next attack, so Andrea is threatening lethal on the next turn, and I don't really see, a way for Vincent to really get back into this game. Like, he has Collective Brutality, can remove a creature and even gain life, but it's not really getting him anywhere. It's not like he's running some kind of mode effects that could potentially shut down goblins for a little while.
No, and this is really scary because we're at a point where Andre is sitting on 5 mana, and regardless of what Andre has in his hand, a Goblin Warchief or a Goblin Chieftain plus any other Goblin will just win the game on the spot here. And we're definitely going to have to see Collective Brutality, kill plus strain here. And there's not, I don't think there's really anything else to do here. But it looks like Ancient Tomb is just going to go ahead and I think there might have been a misclick here, or maybe a misunderstanding of how Brutality works. I saw a lot of mana there floated. But it looks like Vincent is just conceding that he's dead and just trying to see what's in his opponent's hand. So that is going to end up doing it. Andrea is going to take game 1, and we're going to head to sideboarding here. Julian, taking a look at Andrea's sideboard, or I guess we're going to start with Vincent's. What do you like here?
I don't see the sideboard right now, but I also got it on my desktop, so I'm just gonna look it up here. Andrea has, what do I like in the sideboard? So he's got, well, Confusion in the ranks isn't really gonna do much. Pyrokinesis, also not too much. But it's really hard because the kind of deck that Vincent is running, I guess Needle could be okay if you manage, if you assume that the other guy is gonna take out the Chalices, then I could see Needle becoming a thing against the Planeswalkers, but maybe Tuk Scrapper, but there's not really many artifacts that we really care about. I don't know if Andrea actually saw the Leyline or the Helm. I think he didn't. And it's also not like he could actually figure that that would be something that Vincent is relying on.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled with the idea of picking Needle without seeing really what's in Vincent's deck, but it is possible that it's pretty reasonable here. We did see Chalice of the Void, Chrome Mox, so it's fairly likely an Ancient Tomb and City of Traders might represent some other artifacts that are potentially difficult to deal with. So I do like the idea of leaving in the Tuk Scrappers or not of that. Heading out to Vincent's sideboard, we're going to see cards like Ensnaring Bridge, and that's going to be kind of exciting against the Goblins deck because Vincent can kind of play an Ensnaring Bridge, empty out his hand, and just sit and wait until he's ready to win the game.
He actually has a lot of technology in the sideboard. He's got 3 Ensnaring Bridges you mentioned. He also got the Wretched Bomb, which is okay, I guess. I think you usually want to get it to 3 because those are the dangerous goblins. He also has another Toxic Deluge and an Engineered Plague in the sideboard, which can also come in handy. And what do we have over here?
Let's see. Well, looking at their hands, I'm a big fan of. This is really interesting here. So Vincent has a hand of double Leyline, Helm of Obedience, but he doesn't have any of the dual lands here to really power it out. But it is possible that a Leyline of the Void and just kind of sitting on it for a little bit until you draw your 5th land for Helm could just win the game on the spot. So I definitely see the appeal to keeping this hand here. On the other side, Andrea has a Goblin Lackey on turn 1, and without an answer from Vincent, this Goblin Lackey can really go crazy.
Yeah, assuming that Andrea draws something that actually matters, like if he gets a Connected Lackey, he gets to put in probably Mock War Marshal, and that way he gets to use his Shaden Port to slow Vincent down, which could become effective. But right now, Andrea doesn't really have a really good clock, and even though he gets to like eventually double port, I think I don't hate Vincent's chances in a game like that.
No, I don't either. And as we've seen here, Vincent has a lot of soul lands. So it's not, obviously Port is going to be exceptionally good here. Because of all of the soul lands that Vincent does have in his deck, it is possible to really power through it as well.
So what is Vincent actually looking to draw? I think Vincent is really just looking for a couple of mana sources. Like if he finds an Ancient Tomb here, or a soul land, then he can run out the Helm of Obedience, but I'm not sure whether you want to do it. Like depending on which kind of clock Andrea puts up on the next turn, he might want to do it, but it's risky. On the other hand, Karn isn't really doing too much against goblins. Like you might want to just plus it and hope to find a Ensnaring Bridge eventually, but if you're just running out Karn because you want to play around removal on your Helm of Obedience, then you might as well just run out the Helm because then your bridge is also not gonna stick.
And here, Goblin Trashmaster is a really great draw. It's actually one of the best draws I think that Andrea could have had because it lets him have an on-board trick to be able to beat Helm of Obedience. And if you're Andrea, you're not new to Legacy. You certainly understand that when your opponent has Leyline of the Void in their mono black deck, that there's a chance they have the card, Helm of Obedience as well. And if you see that, that's going to be potentially an issue. And Goblin Trashmaster is fantastic here to be able to kind of work around that, have an onboard way, force your opponent to work through it here. And another Leyline of the Void off the top for Vincent. Things are not looking good for him, Julian. Not at all.
He could use a Brainstorm. In a way, the Goblin Trashmaster is interesting. It's another port in a way because that forces Vincent to have 5 mana up to use the Helm immediately. So the initial plan I suggested of just running out the Helm is now foiled by the Trashmaster. And the Trashmaster also provides a decent clock for Andrea now. Especially, it's going to be interesting. Is he going to go to double port or is he going to run out the Chieftain? I think double porting is just way too appealing since the opponent missed land drops and you get 7 points of power on the board.
Yep, opponent missed land drops, plus we have goblins in play, so we're going to be, he's going to be in a fantastic spot, even if Vincent, draws something like Chrome Mox.
Yeah.
Andrea's going to have an onboard answer, so he's going to feel pretty good about what's going on.
So I think the only 2 cards that actually get Vincent out of this is a soul land, like one of his 2 soul lands. plus Lotus Petal and Toxic Deluge, because otherwise I don't really see him getting there on the next turn, and then he dies afterwards. Like, he's almost drawing dead here.
Yeah, things
but if he gets
that,
then Andrea is down to just a Gempower Incinerator.
Yeah, this the double port here is definitely brutal, and I think really Vincent's going to have to draw a soul land here to be able to Toxic Deluge to keep him in this game, and it does not look like that was the draw step here, and I think this is going to about wrap it up for this game.
Unfortunately, I would have loved to see a little bit more of what Vincent's deck can do, but Goblins in a way can be pretty punishing. Like, if you struggle and Goblins gets a decent early draw, then you're definitely going to get destroyed by it. And that's also kind of the appeal of playing these decks that get to, like, play the long game, but also, like, be really, really strong in the early couple of turns.
Yeah, so that was a little unfortunate. So we did see Andrea win 2-0 in our first match over Vincent. He's going to be playing in the winners match after this. But for now, I think it's going to be me versus Noah coming up next. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here and get ready for that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Thank you.
I'm definitely going to look forward to your guys' match. I hope it's going to be a little bit longer and we're going to see a little more. But yeah, so see you then.
Thank you.